It works. Ta-da! So, this app, example app, loads my homepage and my custom attachment processor injects JavaScript code to display an alert. Hello. Hey, what's up? It's Taku here. Welcome back to my channel. I'm back from Italy. I visited Milan and Venice. They were so beautiful, and the food was very good. And now I started working on updating my mobile app. And I wanted to share a quick tip that I found while updating my React Native app. So it's gonna be an advanced topic, so hang tight. I hacked React Native to make it possible to intercommunicate between the native modules. I have a custom native module that needs to communicate with the web view to inject a JavaScript that needs to be accomplished on the native layer instead of JavaScript layer to get more performance, because the mobile app supports displaying images attached to the note. Because the Inkdrop is a note-taking app, and you can insert images, and the notes are rendered in the web view. So my app has a web view and toolbar, back button, and edit button, editor toolbar, things like that, and node images. So when the app has to display an inserted image, you have to load an image data from the local disk, and it has to be passed to the web view somehow. It can be done by writing a simple JavaScript. So you can pass from the React Native layer. So JavaScript, web view, native layer. So the image file is stored. So the image file is stored in the native layer, and you have to load the file in the JavaScript layer. So you have to load the image data from the native layer to JavaScript and pass it to the web view by encoding data in JSON, which means the image data is binary data. So you have to encode it into base 64. So it can be massive. And this part is the biggest bottleneck. Okay? So I wanted to skip this layer. So I wanted to just pass the native layer to web view directly. That's my plan. And I've done this in the current version already. But React Native has been evolved, and it got a bridgeless mode. So what does that mean? The bridgeless mode is a new way to interact with the JavaScript layer and native layer. So when you interact, when you use the native module, React Native, so when you use a native module from your JS, React Native helps you to communicate by providing a bridge. So it makes it easy to communicate with native modules in the JavaScript layer. But as I talked here, this is the bottleneck. So everything you pass to the bridge is encoded in JSON. This is the old architecture. And React Native has got a new architecture which provides bridgeless way to communicate with the JS and native layers by providing tab module and for the basic native modules, and for the UI modules they provide a fabric. These two technologies help you efficiently use the native modules. So I have to update my native module, my custom native modules, to adopt this new architecture. And I use React Native Web View, which is the most popular one for using Web View, which already supports the new architecture. So by simply updating this module, you can quickly adopt new architecture. But as I said, the bridge module is no longer available. So you have to update somehow to get the way to communicate directly from my custom native modules to WebView instance. This is going to be undocumented. So there is no official way to do that, both in old architecture or new architecture. So do that on your own risk. Yeah, so the old architecture, here is my custom native module, which is called attachment processor, which loads images from disk and send it to WebView. And you have to get React native tag. You have to get a native tag in the JavaScript layer, because React Native is a React-based UI system, and every component has its own view tag, and you can get you can get a tag by referring a native tag in the event object. I'll cover it later. So you can get view tag and tell it to your custom native module. And I have a method to set WebView Reactor tag here. So it stores it to the property, and when you have to send the image data to WebView, this is the part, and it injects JavaScript code into an WebView instance, and here is the method that injects JavaScript on the main thread. So this is the old implementation, and as I mentioned, the old architecture has a bridge module, so you can refer the bridge. You can get a reference of the bridge module here, and you can call module for class method to get an instance of RCTUI manager, which is an internal module. So you shouldn't know that. So you don't have to remember this class. And so it manages the native view components. So you can get instance of WebView by calling view for Reactor tag with the WebView Reactor tag, which got in this method. Then you can finally get RNC WebView object here. So this is the React Native WebView class. Cool, man. And you can call inject JavaScript here. Yeah, that's the iOS implementation. So next is Android implementation. So here is the attachment modules for Android written in Java. And so here is the inject JavaScript method, and every native module has a reference to React context, which provides a method which allows you to get another native module by specifying a class. And so in this case, I get a UI manager module here. So it also manages the views, native views, and it provides a method called resolve view, and you can specify the WebView Reactor tag, so you can get a WebView object here, and you can inject JavaScript code, your own JavaScript code on the save thread here. That's all the implementation. So let's migrate my code to the new architecture, which is gonna be top native modules. So top native modules is usually called top modules. Is the new architecture for native implementing native modules. And so the first step is to define the JavaScript specification. So I created an example app to understand how to implement the intercommunication on the new architecture. So I created here, and I've enabled a new architecture here. Then here is the JavaScript specification for tab module. So this module is gonna have a single method, which is process. So its argument is only one. It is the React View tag. So it accepts the React View tag. And here is the application code. It uses my attachment process module and React Native, the latest version of React Native Web View. And it has a onload event, and it provides and you can get a native event from the parameter event parameter. This object has a target property, and target is the native tag, so you can use it for finding an instance of WebView on the native layer. But this is an unofficial way to get this is undocumented, so you have to ignore the TypeScript error here. Yeah, but it is possible. So you can use it for getting instance. Okay, that's the JavaScript side. Okay, then let's move on to the iOS. So the next step is module configuration. Module configuration. So after that, after defining the module specification, you have to define the code gen configuration here in your package JSON. And I named it inkdrop module spec, and the directory is source/spec. And I run the pod, and you can generate the native code by running pod install. Okay, then you've got a native module in your iOS project here. So as you can see, there is a native attachment processor spec, and this is generated code by the code gen. And you don't have to understand everything, but here is the process method here, and this is the method you are gonna implement. And here is my implementation. So this method accepts a React tag as a parameter, and this is a new way to get an instance of the web view. So first, you have to get app delegate object by doing this. So UI application has a shared UI application has a singleton object, and you can get it by calling shared application. Oh no. Yeah, and it has a delegate property. So this is your app delegate class here. So this is the main application instance. Yeah, and app delegate has a property. App delegate is a subclass of RCT app delegate, which has root view factory. Okay, root view factory, which creates the root view for your app. And this module has Yeah, this is so complicated. This module has a private member called React host. The React host, I don't understand it. What is it for? But it has a property that's necessary to get an instance. That is surface presenter. Surface presenter. Right? Am I right? Okay. Yes. Surface presenter. I don't understand. What is it for? But I guess it is for managing the view. I don't know. But it's it's the fabric. It's the internal class of fabric. Yeah. You don't have to understand it. Then it has a property, mounting manager. Where is it? Mounting manager. Yeah, that's it. And this class manages mounting process. I don't know. So maybe it manages when to mount or unmount the views. And this class has a component view registry. Yes, that's what I want. So this class manages the views by React tag here. So you can get an instance of components with tag. So let's use it. So unfortunately, in the root view factory, the React host property is not public. So you can't get a reference to the React host. But in Objective-C, there is a way to illegally get an access to the private properties by calling value for key. So this is the workaround. This is the workaround, and so I've successfully got a reference to React host here. Then next is to get a reference to the view registry. So by referring service presenter and the mounting manager and the component view registry. Then this class has a method for getting an instance by tag. So this is the RCT view component view, and I guess it is a fabric component that holds an instance of the native components views. So you can use it. So it has a content view, and this is what I want. So this is the instance of the React Native Web View, and React Native Web View's content view has a private property called Web View. So you can get an instance, or you can get a reference of the Web View by force with value for key here. Then you can finally inject JavaScript by calling evaluate JavaScript, and let's display a simpler route here. So let's learn it. Let's try it. Oh yeah, it works. Ta-da! So, this app, example app loads my homepage and my custom attachment processor injects JavaScript code to display an alert. Hello. Yeah. It works. It works. That's cool. Now I can quickly send a large binary data directly from my custom module to WebView component. That's cool. Yeah. So this is the iOS implementation. This is the new way. Okay. The next step is the Android. So here is the Android example project. And here is the attachment processor module. The Android part was so easier than I expected. So this is the process method and with the parameter tag. And you can get to get an instance of another native module, you can simply use a Fabric UI Manager. So this is a public member, so you don't have to use any workarounds. And this class has a method called resolve view. This is the same name as the old one, which is so nice. So this is the old one, and you can get a UI Manager, and UI Manager has a resolve view. So this is the same method to get an instance of the specified React tag ID. And by doing so, you can get RNC WebView wrapper. And this view has a WebView property. And you can simply call evaluate JavaScript on this WebView object. That's it. Very, very simple. Let's try it. React Native, run Android. Okay. Yeah. It works. Cool. So that's how to intercommunicate with the native modules on the new architecture. I hope it's helpful. Okay. So if you're interested in checking out the source code, I published it on GitHub here, inkdrop/rn74 example. So please check it out. Yeah, that's it. So I hope it's helpful for hacking React Native. It's an unofficial way to improve the performance, but yeah, it was an interesting hack. I'll keep improving my mobile app faster and more comfortable. Thank you for watching, and have a productive day. Cheers.